Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today we're talking Harry and Meghan. You guys have been so much fun and so wonderful in the comments. I can't thank you enough for all the love and support. All the new subscribers, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If you've been with me the whole time, thanks for being here. So I thought today we would take a look at the reviews of this Harry and Meghan that we've been discussing so much. The reviews are in, and spoiler alert, they're not good, but they are hilarious. So let's take a look and have some laughs. Before we get into this, I just want to remind you, if you want to further support the show, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. That's where I get into like recaps of Sex and the City. I try to do deep dives, learn behind the scenes facts. I really have a lot of fun over there. So check that out. $5 a month gets you access to, it's 4 episodes each month I release, and you have the whole back catalog of like a million episodes that I've done. So check that out. Now, without further ado, let's get into this. So, of course, we know their documentary released. It's a 6-part documentary. I use that in quotations if you want to call it that. That's what Netflix chooses to call it to get their money's worth. And so I recap that. You can go find, I did episodes 1 through 3 in one part and 4, 5, and 6 in the other part. So go check those out. But so I decided to pull it up in IMDb first. So here we are on the landing page. 3.6 out of 10 rating on that. Woo! And if you Google it, it's not just IMDb saying this, but I thought we'd take a look at some of the reviews that people are leaving about this. I do want to point out, although I am no fan of Harry and Meghan, and you know that, I did not do that on purpose. This was literally, as you can see, the featured review that popped up. So this is the big review that so many people, I don't know how it gets featured. I think people have to like upvote it or whatever. So many people have weighed in on this one, so I'm just going to read this one to you. The unbearable whining of the super privileged. I like the title so far. This person gave it a 1 out of 10, saying, hearing these super duper privileged people whine for hours on hours on end is absolutely unbearable. This is beyond first world problems. This is offensive to other people's problems as a whole. This documentary, and I struggle calling it that, is an embarrassment for Netflix. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a royalist, not even close. So that is something funny that comes up in the comments. I've had lots of you guys say the same thing, that although you're not a royalist, you just can't with these two. I get it. I am a royalist, but it doesn't matter. You can be, you can't be, it doesn't matter, and still have the same feelings as this person does. I think what got me is just exactly what he said, he or she said, the unbearable whining of the super privileged. I think a lot of us commented on that. It was just, I'm sorry, cry me a river from your, well, we found out it's not even there, but the rented $30 million mansion that you filmed this thing in. So the next one here, they gave them a 3 out of 10, better than the first one, right? And it's called Overindulging a Tantruming Child. It may be a little unfair to review a series before it's concluded, but here we are. As a Brit, born in 79, I grew up with Harry and William always in the news. Lady Diana and the tragedy of her passing was a huge deal, etc. Harry, his entire life, has been living in the shadow of his elder brother. I'm not going to say that word, but the uniform he wore and various ways of acting up. This documentary, the Oprah interview, the book, ... it's all just a hurt little boy jealous of his elder brother, and he's lashing out and stomping his feet. I'm sure encouraged by the other media-hungry characters in his orbit. Unfortunately, Netflix and other media outlets have indulged this petulant child, and it's rewarded him handsomely. Well said. Again, this is another theme that comes up in the comments, is how he sure seems to hate the media, but he sure doesn't mind using the media to promote himself and Meghan. So, but yes, he's acting like a petulant child stomping his feet. I think that's very well said. So we got another 3 out of 10 here, and they call it attention seeking. I used to like Meghan Markle until I've seen lately in the news. I'm thinking until what I've seen lately in the news. She stepped out as a royal family, seeking more and more attention and quarrels. I understand there are cultural differences, as it happens to all of us, but the fact she filmed herself and Harry, even before all this happening, it shows she was calculated in what she was planning. That is such a great point that a lot of you guys brought up in the comments, is thinking about, even the Freedom Flight and things like that, filming that. It shows that this was a plan all along, it appears. Another 3 on this one. People really like to give them 3s. And again, I didn't go through and pick these. These were just in order that I found them. 3 out of 10. This one's called tiring. All these two have to trade on is their incessant whining about how hard life is for them. There's no new content in the first 3 episodes. It's just shiny propaganda, knowing that the royal family won't openly dispute it. They would be so much happier if they moved on and lived in the private life and life of service they claim to want. Such a great point. I felt the same way, and I said that in my recaps, is there's really not a ton of new information. They would maybe drop a little nugget here and there of awfulness, but then they would play a song or show some pictures and stuff. We got a lot of private pictures, which again goes against what I thought they said they wanted, but that's another story. But yeah, I would say tiring is a great descriptor of what I felt watching it. So this next one just popped up. I don't see a rating on it. I don't know if it's because it's new or what, but it doesn't matter. Okay, this one's called Absolutely Insulting, and I just want to read the beginning part because it kind of hit home for me too. It says, I get wanting to leave the establishment. Good on them. I get wanting to live a more freeing lifestyle. More power to them. But what I will never comprehend is the constant whining. I read that wrong. The constant whining, period. For sure, feel free to whine about the terrible situations you were immersed in. But for goodness sakes, whine about it to your equally rich and powerful peers, friends, etc. in private. Because it is absolutely insulting to constantly whine about how bad you had it when your backdrop was a castle, designer clothes, private jets, and insane luxury at your beck and call. There are people at this very moment homeless in the dead of winter. I'm not going to keep reading the rest, but they make a great point, and I think that's, again, what I saw a lot in the comments is we're all struggling right now. It's a tough time for everybody. And so to see this with the message it's giving about the whining and stuff and how insufferable it was and how small the free accommodations they were given by the Queen were and stuff, and how when you had Oprah over to tea, she commented on how small it was. It's like, give me a fucking break. This one's called Maximum Tone Deaf, and I'm guessing they meant tone deaf, but they gave it a 1 out of 10, and they said, while the rest of the country struggle to pay bills, buy food, keep the house warm with the energy crisis at hand, maybe pause for a second and think about the real victims that are truly suffering in our society, ... Multi-millionaires, Harry and Meghan. That's right. We the people know nothing about suffering in comparison to these two. It's time we paid more attention to them and gave them the praise that they clearly so desperately want and deserve. I love this review so much. I think that perfectly sums up what a lot of us were saying as well. Give me a break. We've all been through tragedy and loss and prejudice and you name it, we've been through it, right? Somebody in the comments has been through it. And where's our multi-million-dollar check for whining for 4 hours? I'm sitting here whining about these two a-holes and I don't get a multi-million-dollar check. Where's my jet? Pepsi, where's my jet? Oh, that was such a good documentary, by the way. Watch that on Netflix. That's pretty fun. Anyway, just too much out of these two. Okay, so let's move on over to Rotten Tomatoes. So if you pull up Harry and Meghan at the time of this recording, which is Friday afternoon, they have it looks like Rotten Tomatoes breaks it up where the I'm sorry, I'm just looking at it now. It's I believe the left side was the professional critics or people that rate quite a bit. They gave it a 43%, and then everybody else gave it a 14%. Woohoo! So we kick off with Rachel here, and Rachel seems to be a top critic, and she said Harry and Meghan is an exhausting endurance test. 6 hours of your life you won't get back. I couldn't agree with you more, Rachel. Okay, Ben Travers of IndieWire, listed as a top critic, says Harry and Meghan is merely a long, redundant recap of two very public lives, and absent any challenging questions from outside the couple's tidy little love bubble, it's a dull one at that. Great point. That's exactly what I had brought up too, is there's just no questioning anything they said. There's no opposition. There's no showing the other side, nothing, which doesn't help the me vibe that it gives off. So Allison from the Herald in Scotland says 6 hours is a long time to spend on anyone, suits or no suits. Constance from Vox says Harry and Meghan does so little to advance what we already know that it feels more like a summary than a true documentary. And we have Carol from the Times UK. What I mainly took away was a sense of a couple so in love with themselves that they had lost any semblance of self-awareness. Wow, well said. Okay, well, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for all the love and support in the comments. I really do truly appreciate you taking the time to write those. I hope you have the best day, and I can't wait to talk to you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.